Okay, hello, here we are again. We are back in Destiny. It's been quite a while. And any case, we're back with a new build video. And this time it's on a Solar Hunter, which is probably my new favorite subclass. Um, so to start off, we're probably going to use a quite unusual exotic weapon. In this case, that will be Barrow Dyad. This is actually a crazy weapon. It can deal quite a lot of damage against bosses, and horde clear on this is pretty cool as well. As you see down here, panic response 5. It's anti-overload as well. This weapon generates blight as it deals damage. While not firing, blight depletes and the magazine is gradually refilled. Reload the weapon to convert stored blight into blighted seekers. Now, if we come up to the weapon perks, where we have taken ambition, blight generated increases the longer this weapon remains on a target. So the longer we shoot the same target, more we create more blights. Blighted seekers, if we fire them, they burrow into the targets and explode, dealing more damage. Now this does not mean that it is an AoE attack, it just means you deal more damage to the target they burrow into. Next up we have another trait, Hatchling Refit. This is the catalyst. It doesn't say it, but it is. Precision final blows or rapidly defeating targets with this weapon spawns a threatling at the target's location. Threatlings are gonna be quite important in this build, which you might think unusual on a solar build, but they're gonna help you quite a lot. For the rest, the best options to go are polygonal rifling, appended mag, taken ambition, combat grip, and hatchling refit. There's also a catalyst where you can deal more damage the more you're shooting at the same target. It is also a very good option if you're going mainly boss DPS, but in this build, we want a bit of an all-round build. So you have taken ambition for DPS and hatchling refit for ad clear. Furthermore, we have an energy weapon. In my case, I'm using return to memory, but this is not necessary to use specifically this weapon. It's a very good weapon though, so I can definitely recommend it, but it's not necessary. Now, I would say that it's quite preferable if you use a solar weapon in both your energy and your power slot, and that one of these weapons is an unstoppable weapon and the other is an anti-barrier weapon. So you can have all three of the anti-perks available for any champions that you might face. In case you want to use return to memory, most importantly, you want heal clip for some extra healing whenever you reload after kills with this weapon, and incandescent. When you kill something with this weapon, it explodes, scorches some nearby targets. Pretty decent. And tenacity is probably the best option, just for some extra damage and improved amount of reload speed and handling, which you pretty much keep till you die. And down here you can use whatever. Handling is a pretty good one, but if you have velocity here, also very good. Blast radius, decent, I'd say. Down here, you do need a rocket launcher, and preferably a solar rocket launcher, but if that's not in your inventory at the moment, just use any rocket launcher you have available. Pyroclastic Flow actually is a very good rocket launcher, and it is anti-barrier as well. I'm going with blast radius and velocity right here. Velocity is quite important on rocket launchers and stuff, so you have more chance of hitting the target if it's further away. And Cluster Bomb is a very good choice for this one, and Explosive Light as well, which is deal extra damage whenever you pick up orbs of power, which will be constantly with this build. Demolitionist will also be pretty decent. You just need to get final blows with this, and I'm not using it for ad clear, I'm using it for DPS, and well, you're not gonna kill a boss often with your rocket launcher, so. Coming over to our exotic armor, we are using speed loader slacks. Dodging instantly reloads all your weapons and grants increased reload and handling to you and nearby allies. So it's also a very good build to use with teammates because you're assisting them with multiple things in this build. While this build is active, additional dodges increase the buff strength and refresh the timer, maxing out at 5 stacks. And what we want the most is dealing sustained damage grants class ability energy. This is going to be crucial for our what's it called? Our DPS rotation. If we would not have this perk, then the whole build would fall apart against bosses, at least. Just for stats, class is most important, I would say. Definitely, if you want maximum damage from your class ability and maximum amount of overshield just to gain some extra survivability. Secondly, you want as high as of a weapon stat as possible, and then you can distribute the rest of your stats between grenade and super. Not really a better choice here. You need both, so I distribute them evenly. You could also choose going for 200 weapon and throwing the rest into class stat if you're like, I want to do more damage with all of my weapons, which is completely understandable. So yeah, and then you would have a little bit of less damage on your dodge and less overshield, but I mean, if you're sure you can survive, like, be my guest, please do. Next up, our artifact. We're using Torch, while Radiant, which is going to be pretty much always damage to combatant affected by strength and stasis debuffs. You deal increased damage to them. That's basically gonna be every target you shoot at with your Barrow Dyad, and we'll come to why that is in just a second. Just know that you're dealing increased damage to basically everything you shoot at. Wished into being. While your super is nearly fully charged, ability final blows spawn orbs of power. I am just using this because I didn't really know what else I should use. If you want another option, blast radius could be an option if you're going to use your rocket launcher for ad clear, just to get some extra armor stacks. If you like sometimes using your melee, this could be an option. It's not as good though. And if you're in a fire team, which I normally am not, so then this would be a very good option as well. definitely in raids where you have 6 people, then Heart of Flame would be very good. So yeah, I would either choose Wish into Being or Blast Radius. And if you're in the fire team, definitely switch it out for Heart of Flame just for the content. Unraveling orbs, picking up an orb of power or a tangle. We won't be producing those, but we will be picking up orbs of power. Grants strand weapons, in this case Barrow Dyad weapons. Unraveling rounds, that's what Barrow Dyad will get, which is something that you can debuff enemies with. You're gonna unravel them, and that's a strand debuff, so you're gonna deal increased damage to them. Next up, stunning a champion causes it to ignite and clears your shield stun. Just some extra damage to champions. That's all. Rocket launchers deal increased damage to champions. Definitely on content like Grandmasters, you're gonna encounter a lot of champions. So if you like want to use a rocket launcher occasionally, definitely do. You're gonna deal increased damage. Then Hoyt Shuttle, damaging unraveled targets with a weapon. Occasionally spawns a threatling. This is gonna be on definitely on Grandmaster. You're gonna produce a lot of threatlings. So that's very nice. And threatlings will sever targets that they damage. And severing is gonna cut their damage down so they deal less damage to you and your allies. Also very nice. And then right here, dealing sustained damage to severed targets, unravel them. Defeating a severed target creates a hotspot of strand energy, granting woven mail to nearby allies and yourself for 10 seconds. And because we are severing uh severing targets with our threatlings all the time, we're gonna have a lot of hotspots of these woven mills, so everyone can get some extra damage reductions, which is very nice. And it's very cool that you can get it on solar as well that easily just by using Barrow Dyad basically. Then for our subclass, we're using Blade Barrage. I've tested all 3 supers and I found out that this is the one with the most damage and the shortest cooldown as well. So you can, if you ever encounter a tough target, you can just throw your super at it and have it back in quite the short amount of time. For a dodge, we're using Acrobat's dodge, so we gain 15 seconds of radiance whenever we dodge. Just a knife trick and a healing grenade. Now, if you're sure you're gonna survive without a healing grenade, then please pick something else. Any damage that you can add to this build or Horde Clear is gonna help you, so. But I still prefer healing grenades for certain situations, so. Next up, we have our aspects. We're using Crack Shot. When we dodge, we shoot up to 3 bullets, which scorch, and if we land all 3 hits, it heals ourselves. And as you can see, all class stats above 100 will increase the damage of Crack Shot, so that will be at the maximum as we are at 200 class ability. Next up, on your mark, this is a very good aspect. Activating your class ability or landing precision shots, which is going to be very easy. Grant you and nearby allies increase reload speed, very nice. And 50 weapon stat for a short duration. That 50 weapon stat you get when you're at 10 stacks. So that means 1 stack is the equivalent of 5 weapon stat points. And that is why right, that's why you want to go to a maximum of 150 weapon stat, because the other 50 you're gonna get from on your mark. So if you go to 200 weapon stat, you're not gonna get any benefits except the reloading speed and the curing out of on your mark. So up to a maximum of 150, no higher. Then for our fragments, we are using Amber of Char, where solar ignition spreads scores. Jesus, I'm sorry. Where solar ignitions spread scourge to affected targets. Like we said before, whenever we stun a champion, it's gonna ignite the target. It's gonna ignite the champion, and there usually are some enemies around the target, so they're gonna get scorched, some extra damage, and that also means we can ignite them quicker again because they already have some scorch stacks. Ember of Solace, Radiant and Restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. Normally you would get 10 seconds of Radiance, but because of Ember of Solace we're getting 15 whenever we dodge. Ember of Eruption, your solar ignitions have an increased area of effect, more chances to hit targets with our exploded ignitions. Ember of Ashes, you apply more scorch stacks to targets. That's gonna apply to our knife, crack shot, Amber of Char, Blade Barrage, Incandescent on Returned Memory. And lastly, I have Ember of Beams, where our solar super projectiles have stronger target acquisition. This is for when we are playing solo. If I'm playing in a team, I'm switching this to Ember of Benevolence, where applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies grants increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short duration. Which, with dodging constantly, you're gonna be doing this the whole time, and you're gonna get Cure when you're at 10 stacks, as well as your allies whenever you kill something, because you have on your mark. And you can cure allies and yourself with your healing grenade as well. So this is for fire teams when you're with other people. This is for when you're solo. What else? Our mods, of course. For our helmet mods, we're going triple strand siphon. On something like Grandmaster, where even the regular red bar targets are way tougher, you can switch one of these out for something like a Dynamo, because it's gonna help you get your super back even quicker. You could also go for a heavy ammo finder if you feel like you have problems keeping up with your ammo of your rocket launcher. But for things like master difficulty and beneath, I would recommend using three strand siphons. Then on our arms, we are using a grenade font, a grenade kickstart, so we can get the grenade back quicker, and a harmonic dexterity, which will apply to both our energy and our power weapon. Down here, we're using, this should be triple mods. You could also switch one of these out for a concussive dampener, but I like having triple of these resistances. For the rest, there's not really anything that's useful. Down here, we have double strand weapon surge and a one-time harmonic scavenger for both return memory and pyroclastic flow. And one thing that I figured out and was wondering at first, the Blight Seekers from Barrow Dyad are indeed considered strand damage, which means that strand weapon surges will increase the damage of your Blighted Seekers. So that's good to know. So we get another 22% damage bonus on our Blighted Seekers, I believe. And on our Cloak, we're using Time Dilation, Powerful Attraction, and a Reaper. You could also, if you want, you could switch the Reaper out for perhaps Distribution. Also a very good choice, as when you're using triple strand siphons, you are probably not gonna get a lot of mileage out of your Reaper. So using a distribution would really help as well. And if you want, you could also use the switch this one for maybe a special finisher. One of the finishers, perhaps a proximity ward, whatever. So that is that. Anything else? Okay, now I will quickly go to the shooting range. I'm going on master, which is usually the what's it called? A difficulty I'm playing when I'm solo, at least. Just to show you the damage this can do with a whole DPS rotation. Now, when I am going to explain this, it might be a bit confusing for you, but don't worry, I'm gonna break it down so everyone can understand and very easily get used to this DPS rotation. So we're gonna quickly take Carl. Okay. So it's gonna be rather easy. Whenever you encounter a boss, you're gonna start off with your super just to get that damage in. You're gonna follow up with a dodge just to get that into recharge mode. You're gonna shoot one of your rocket launchers, then switch to Barrow Dyad and make headshots till you have the panic response full. You're gonna do another dodge, shoot another rocket, and then you're gonna shoot your Blighted Seekers. Yeah, you're gonna shoot your Blighted Seekers and immediately continue shooting to get panic response full again. You're gonna do another dodge, you're gonna rocket launcher, you're gonna shoot this, and it's all gonna loop up very nicely. Just like this. So yeah, this is gonna be your whole damage rotation. And the only problem that a bit sucks is once you're out of your what's called rocket launcher ammo, you're gonna have wait what? Oh geez. Cluster bomb reset it. Anyways, when you're gonna run out of your rocket launcher ammo, the whole rotation is gonna well pretty much stop because only with Barrow Dyad you're not gonna deal enough damage to quickly refill your class ability. I mean, you have a sort of damage rotation, but it is not as good. But you know, if there's still time left to do some DPS, you can just shoot with Barrow Dyad. Perhaps put a returned memory in there, whatever. Now I did forget to pick up some orbs of power to like show you the damage with the strand weapon surges, the unraveling that we get whenever we pick up an orb of power, which will let us deal increased damage to strand debuff targets. This is not gonna do anything. Well, we won't. Oh, we will probably be spawning a few threadlings as the boss will be unraveled. So also show the damage rotation. Well, it's pretty much going to be the same. Now, do watch out that you stay far away because the damage radius from your rocket launcher is very big, so it can very easily one-shot you. So yes, about 77k of damage in. I'll also time that in a minute, like almost perfectly a minute. You deal about 77k damage, which is definitely like you might think, but oh, Silpitera, there's so much more builds that like deal 140k in a minute or something. I mean, yes, that is double damage. I have such a build as well. But you know what that uses? That uses usually it does at least heavy ammo exotic. Then yes, of course it will. This build even uses shards of Galanor and knock him down and Blade Barrage. Your Blade Barrage is gonna get buffed so much, it's gonna deal half, about 30k already. And the thing about this here is, yes, you're using a rocket launcher for like partial of the damage. Um, but even if I would go ahead and show you the damage when you, well, no, that rotation won't work. Anyways, the damage that you deal with Barrow Dyad, which is, again, it is a primary weapon. Not much primary weapons are able to do such an amount of damage. And, like, agreed, you shouldn't use this in a raid encounter or Pantheon. Definitely, please don't. But what you very well can use this for is things like Grandmaster alerts, just whatever, Pinnacle missions, exotic missions, dungeons, anything but raids, basically. And you could use it in raids, you're just gonna get low on the damage leaderboard. Believe me, I tested it. Um, but for the rest, yes, that is the build. I must say this is one of the best builds I ever made myself, so I am very proud of it, and I certainly hope you guys will enjoy this. Just like it's pretty simple as well. Just shoot Barrow Dyad, throw a return memory in there sometimes. For boss, just switch between these two. Just rocket launcher Barrow Dyad, rocket launcher Barrow Dyad. It's all very simple. So yes, definitely go ahead, try out the build, see if you like it. If you do, leave a comment, leave a like, whatever. I don't care. And mainly just enjoy using the build. That's all that matters. So have a good one, guys.